we're looking at 4.5 using slope-intercept form, which means we will have the slope and the intercept. We will graph linear equations using the slope-intercept form. A linear equation of the form y equals mx plus b is written in slope-intercept form. Okay, this is important. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. If you have those two things, you should be able to graph anything. Two lines in the same plane are parallel if they do not intersect. If their slopes are the same, they have the same rise and fall, then they will never intersect. So that's important that we have our lovely slope-intercept form. Parallel means that they have the same slope. And my computer's being silly. Okay, so we are going to go through these, and we're going to make sure they're in slope-intercept form, which means y equals mx plus b. And then we're going to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, the first one. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Is this in y equals mx plus b form? Is the y by itself?
Yes.
Yes. And then we've got a number in front of the x, and then we've got a number added to it. So that means it's in slope-intercept form. Can somebody raise their hand and tell me what that m is? What's the slope? Yes, Kyle. Nope. Where is the m? Look at it. It says y equals mx plus b. So Kyle, try one more time. It's 3 because it's right in front of the x. Can somebody tell me what the y-intercept or the b is? Kyle's the only one that knows in the entire class.
4.
What do we do, Mark, when we have an answer? Yes, Mark.
4.
4. Thank you.
My name gonna be on there.
Yes, Mark. Your voice is being recorded right now. All right. The next one, ladies and gentlemen, I want a thumbs up if you think it's in slope-intercept form and a thumbs down if it's not, in between if you're not sure. Thumbs up if it's in slope-intercept form. Thumbs down if B is not. Thumbs sideways if you're not sure. Okay. Let me ask you this. Is y by itself?
Yes.
Is it on one side of the equal sign all by itself?
No, it ain't by
It isn't, so that means it's not in slope-intercept form. We've got 3x plus y equals 2. How am I going to get y alone?
You gotta add 2.
What do we do, Mark, when we have an answer to a question? Daniel.
Subtract y.
Not y, but 3x. We're going to get 3x over to the other side, and that gives us y by itself. Is it now? Is y by itself?
Yes.
Does the x come next and then a number?
Yeah.
So it is in slope-intercept form. Please raise your hand if you can tell me what the m is. Please raise your hand, Travis. Perfect. Please raise your hand if you can tell me what the b is or the y-intercept. Alexa? 2. Okay? So we know to see if we can find the slope and the y-intercept, the first thing we have to do is make sure the y is by itself. Then we've got something x plus something or minus something. Okay? Then we can tell that the m is right in front of the x. The y-intercept or the b is by itself. All right, now we're going to do this and we're going to graph. So let's go to example 2. All right, we've got to graph 2x plus y equals 3. Is the y by itself?
No.
No. So I'm going to get the y by itself by moving the 2x. It's being added, so I want to, Kyle? Subtract. Right? These cancel, and I'm left with y equals negative 2x plus 3. Please raise your hand if you can tell me what the slope is. What's the slope or the m? Yep, what is it, Hunter?
It is
What's right in front of that x right here?
2.
2, negative 2. Slope is negative 2. Who knows what the b is? Kyle.
3.
Okay, now we're going to do the new part. We're going to graph it. Alright, so you guys have pretty graph paper on yours. I've got my y, I've got my x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. Okay, so your first dot is always going to go where your b is. And it's called the y-intercept because it's where it crosses the y-axis. So I'm going to go to y, and I'm going to find 3. And I go up 1, 2, 3, and I make my first dot right there. Any questions about how to find the b, the y-intercept, and put it on your graph? Yes?
How do you know the B is Y?
Because it says in our definition of the equation that b is the y-intercept, right at the top. It's the rule forever and ever. Okay. Now my slope is negative 2. That means negative 2 over 1. That's rise over run. So it says, how much is the rise? If the rise is on top of negative 2 over 1, I go down 2. So I go to my y-intercept, and I go down 2, 1, 2, I go to the right 1. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, to the right 1.
I thought you go into the AP, so you can't go nowhere.
You can if you want to. Yes. Yes, you can. Kyle said, can't you also, is it negative 2 over 1? That's the same as 2 over negative 1. Yes, it is. We could go up to negative 1. And we have the same slope. We make a straight line. Okay, let's turn it over. We're going to look at a nice story problem. All right, example 3. To get from one floor to another at a library, you can either take the stairs or the escalator. You can climb stairs at a rate of 1.75 feet per second. And the escalator rises at a rate of 2 feet per second. You have to travel a vertical distance of 28 feet. The equations model the vertical distance in feet you have to travel. Okay, one of these is wrong. This should not say, this should say distance equals negative 2t plus 28, not y. So we are going to graph both of these equations. Okay? The first thing we're going to do is negative 1.75, I don't know what that means, right? Okay, I'm going to turn this into a mixed number. So I know that's negative 1 3/4. But I still don't like it. That's still too hard to make for a slope. So I'm going to turn it into a improper fraction. To turn it into an improper fraction, you go 4 times 1 plus 3. 4 times 1 is 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to get d equals negative 7/4 t plus 28. And that means the same thing as negative 1.75. Okay. For the stairs, what is the slope for the stairs? What's the m? Yes, Kyle. Down 7 over 4. Negative 7/4. And what is the b? Where does it cross the x-axis? Y-axis. 28. Okay. So we are going to graph the stairs first, and then on the same graph, we're going to graph the escalator. All right, it says it crosses the y-axis at 28. So I don't think we should count by ones, do you? No. Let's count by sevens. So I'm going to go 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. I'm going to count these as 1, 2, 3, 4. This I'm going to count as negative 7, negative 14, negative 21, negative 28, 1, 2, 3, negative 4. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot on 28. Because that's where my B is.
That's not 28, that's 21.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you wrong with that.
That's the problem. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. I'll do it in a different color. That's my bad. On 28. Then I'm going to go down 7 over 4 or up 7 over 4. So there's the stairs. Stairs are in green. Okay. For our escalator, we've got D equals negative 2t plus 28. What is the M and the B for this one? Okay. Negative 2 and 28. So my first dot is on 28, but this is the hard part. It's down 2 over 1. Then it's down 2 over 1. Or it's up 2 over 1. You guys see it? You've got to estimate. If your numbers go up by 7, you know that 2 is almost halfway between, a little less than halfway between. So, ladies and gentlemen, do I save a lot of time by taking the escalator instead of the stairs?
Yes.
A little bit, not a whole lot. All right, we're going to talk about parallel lines next.
Escalator's slow.
We're going to talk about parallel lines.
I hate when just
Well then, don't.
have to.
Not Mark. Stop. Okay, we are on example 4, and we're going to talk about parallel lines. Okay. Do you guys see A, B, and C lines on there? Let's figure out your slope. Who can tell me the slope of A? Do you see those dots? From the dot on the far left, how much did you have to go up to get to the next dot on A? Yes. 1 over 3. Who's looking at B? Everybody looking at B? How much did you have to go up and over to get to B? You had to go up how many? And over how many? So it's 2 over 5. And finally C. I'm going to go up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 over 6, can we reduce that? What does that reduce to? 1/3. Okay, which ones of these have the same slope? So we say A is parallel to C because they have the same slope. Those little lines right there mean parallel. A is parallel to C. I hope you've all written all of this down so that you can do your homework.
Hold on.
So A is parallel to C.